Hi guys, and we're back now with the first episode of our developer commentary series. The episode prior to this was our prologue. I realised last time I didn't introduce myself, so I'm Daley, I'm community lead at Playtonic, and you're getting the Plague edition of me at the moment, as you can probably hear. I have with me Gavin Price.
Hello.
Studio head, Hamish Lockwood.
Hello.
Designer,
yes.
So I'm asking it like
Slash
a
artist.
Question.
And Stephen Hurst, environment artist.
Hello again.
Correct. Yes.
The frame rate killer.
So yeah, we're going to do a playthrough of the first half of Tribalstack Tropics, and I've got a bunch of questions that the community brought here too. So should we get started and start exploring?
Yeah. I don't know if everyone noticed at the start of every world, to make your initial progress, we forced a move that Trowzer's just given you for free onto you to access the remainder of the world. So we've just got the roll move from Trowzer back in the old Ivory Towers, and we have to use it straight away to get up here, else we slide down. And that's the same for every. That's something consistent throughout the whole game, isn't it, Hamish?
Yes. I'm trying to think of what happens in the other worlds. I know what happens in the last one.
Yeah, we glide across on. Well, I don't want to do any spoilers for anyone who hasn't got past this level, which, according to many of the achievement statistics, is a significant number of people. But all the moves gained, they get called into action straight away at the start of each level before you can go off and find Trowzer to go and give him some quills, because he's such a nice businessman. Why wouldn't you?
Have we had any speedrunners that have actually broken that rule? Or did we cover
Probably. I think you can
certainly.
clip through Shipwreck Creek and get taken to the end credits somewhere.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. I just haven't shown anyone how to do it yet. Something we didn't talk about last time as well, but now we're in a world where we can collect lots of pages, is the emote system. And I remember this came about because we always used to spot a lot of forum debate about how Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie differed from one another. And one of the things was Banjo-Kazooie, when you picked up a Jiggy, you always went into the automatic dance, or most of the time went into an automatic dance. And on Banjo-Tooie, you didn't. The Jiggy span around you and you were free to move on unhindered. And this time round we thought, well, we'll put emotes in, so as you go and do things, you can choose whether to stop and celebrate any moment for yourself and cater to both types of players' preferences, which I thought was quite nice at the time. It's nice to go and talk to characters, I always like to think, and as Yooka-Laylee are dialoguing with them, just set off different emotes to create your own little player-led stories. But hey.
Yeah, it also makes for good screenshot moments as well.
It does.
How are you feeling at that particular time?
We should save these off as GIFs, because there's the fail GIF. There's a happy one. Hey.
I like that
Here's an angry one. And I remember Steve Mills really had lots of fun doing these. I think that one, he used to have Yuka's middle finger sticking up as well.
And Laylee's.
So, yeah. Shall I collect this guy? He's begging to be collected, isn't he?
Yes.
What's his name?
Norm, I think. Norm.
Yeah. Because he's the normal one.
He's just the norm, isn't he? Collect some ghosts, and these were the, at the time, sort of new Jinjos. But I remember thinking we wanted the differences. Like, Jinjos came in all sorts of varieties and flavours. I don't know if you ever licked a Jinjo, Mr. Hurst.
Many some, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You know all about this. And this time round, we wanted them to have each different colour and form, have a different kind of mini-game about it. So the normal one was just usually hidden, and he just looks a bit of an uninteresting thing to go and collect, doesn't he? But hey, we've got this fast one here, Evie, because she evades you. We put a lot of effort into the naming of these guys, and it causes a ton of blinking trouble. I nearly said something else instead of blinking then. I don't know if anyone else does this, but this ghost, you either catch it straight away or it dances around you for 20 seconds. No, there's no middle ground with that.
I think if you run directly at it, when it turns around, you kind of most of the time
got
get
it. Yeah. Mr. Hurst, do you remember when you first did this to the plants?
I do. Yeah.
I remember you.
Everybody was amazed at
We
that.
were going, wow.
Except the programmers who were shocked at the frame rate dropping.
Yeah. As you copied and pasted them merrily around the entire level. That's a nice little thing. Do you remember Tribalstack? This was the first level, and it evolved from the Kickstarter area.
It
demo.
was, yeah. This was the very, very first level that we worked on. We knew initially that we wanted some kind of bright, sunshiny jungle level. So yeah, this was started in the Kickstarter. Really, it was the very first thing that we did with the demo. It evolved quite a lot from there, but the very start of the
I think
game.
it had that temple, right? And then just like grass
It
and
had,
stuff
yeah,
around,
it
and
had,
that was
the,
all.
it had
pretty
the
much?
base of that temple, yeah. We always knew there was going to be a temple in the middle of it, so that we had that.
Gained a
And we
couple
knew there
of
was going to be a waterfall in there, and
temples.
things like that. So a lot of the elements have come through. It's just expanded a little bit.
I remember we always wanted the first world to be kind of this return to blue sky, lush greenery, gaming, we had the
Yeah.
temple theme.
It was always a call out to our older games, because I mean, a lot of the games like DK or Banjo generally started with a jungle level, so it was more of a call out to the fans, really, just to say this is where we came from.
In hindsight, I know we gave ourselves massive technical challenges, creating such an open level with lots of open wide views in every direction.
Yes, you did.
Foolishly, we thought we could just do things like that willy-nilly, and the technical wizards had waved their magic wands. But it doesn't quite work like that in game development, really, and it never has it. I don't think. So
You're above the law.
lesson learned is what we'd say, and I don't think we'd try and give ourselves so much open areas. And it is difficult to keep so many open areas unique and distinctive and interesting. And in hindsight, I think we've already got some thoughts on how we'd do things differently second time around.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, I'll try not to announce any games that may or may not be in development or prime them for release straight after the video ends.
We actually had a question from one of our Facebook followers called Grant Mortensen, and he asked regarding the design level. He said, did you originally have this level designed with verticality in mind? The other levels get wider after expanding, but this one gets higher.
We always wanted the expansion on this level. We thought, well, we can't go any bigger and more horizontal, so we wanted a big key feature that when you came back and saw for the first time, you thought, wow, the levels gained this massive, huge, significant feature, and going vertical after there's already so much horizontal on the level seemed a natural thing to do.
It's also a nice thing to catch your eye from a distance. So it's like, oh, that's clearly new.
It is, yeah.
To the level.
And when we were trying to anticipate how players might want to go through the game. Do they play all the way through? Do they go do a level, expand a level, then go do the next level, or do they do a mix, an ad hoc mix, and shoot from the hip with their buddy duo adventure? But I always where am I going with this one?
It sounded like the box art blurb or something like
that's
that.
it. No, we wanted to make sure the gameplay was going to be significantly different when changed, so we get access to things like Kartos when coming back to this one.
Also,
try and make sure there was a good mixture of differences in expansions throughout the world.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Each world we
Yeah.
did try to make it different, the expansion different from the last one, which I guess we'll talk about in each episode, but I think we kind of did that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to go see Clara? We've got a few questions about her.
Who's asking a question about Clara, I wonder?
There are a couple
Kev.
of people. So this one is like surrounding Clara. This is from Emily Newton from Facebook. She says, those weird cave entrances where you do the Clara missions, was there originally going to be an area in the cave, or did you just make the entrances randomly warp you out of another one to joke around with us?
I remember seeing that up. Actually.
Yeah,
They were just open doors for the longest time. I think they used to be huts or something, right? They used to be something, and then there were doors, and then it was like, okay, do we build? So we had a problem of we need the enemies to come out of there, right?
Yeah, we need a way of spawning the enemies.
So they can't just be walls. And then it's like, okay, well then what happens if the player goes in? They either have to go into a new room, so do we make new interiors, or which I think we ran out of time to do that, so I think that would have been cool, but it's just like too much work. So in the end, we just had each door take you out of another door because it was the quickest thing to do. So
They were huts originally, weren't they? Like I said.
Yeah.
Looking back, it probably
they were
would
just
have been easier to have the huts,
enemy spawning
doors
spaces.
opening, the enemy and
Yeah,
the door
yeah.
shuts again. But,
There were enemy spawning spaces, but yeah, it's kind of nice. And in the end, we made sure going in one came out somewhere different, a bit Scooby-Doo-ish.
yeah.
although maybe if you do go in a certain order into different doors, maybe you do go to a new area.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe.
There is a
I didn't do it.
There's a secret
There's a chance.
100 transitions.
You could try, go through it about
Wow.
100 times and you may find something.
You won't. Or will you?
But I do like to think that in the fade to blacks that we've got between the door transitions, there's time passed between, so anything could have happened between there. This is in my own mind, so I do think like in my mind there's something in there. It's just we never get to see it as players.
You could have gone in and just heard a load of fighting noises,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
another one. Yooka comes out with like lipstick marks all over his forehead. Who knows? But anyway, poor Clara. Look at her. Surely there's another question about why a skeleton is in a pot.
There is, but I'm going to
Yes.
save it until after you release it.
Oh, okay, let's do it. This was actually the first prototype challenge sequence. We used a lot of visual scripting tools, didn't we, to put this together? I think you ended up with this one.
I joined the company I think after sometime after the Kickstarter finished, I think, but still fairly early on. But this world, the structure was there, but this was the challenge that was kind of the vertical slice that you guys did to go, okay, we need the dialogue system and the combat system and camera system and
yeah,
animations.
all sorts.
So this, I always thought this challenge has a slightly different feel to it, to the rest of it, because it has kind of everything that we use in one, in a way.
Yeah, there's approaching triggers, camera triggers,
Little
cuts,
cutscene, spawning enemies.
dialogue, spawning enemies, which we had to store in lists when spawned,
Yeah.
declare them in the game object pooler, great
Yeah.
feature of Unity, which means we can save memory.
Was there ever an intent to have anything happen if they reach the cauldron?
Well, like jump inside or something?
Yeah, like make it hotter or add like an ingredients to it.
Oh,
That's in Yooka-Laylee Breath of the Wild.
releasing.
Yay. I win! I'll collect some butterflies as well.
Excuse me.
But no, I don't think so. I think it was always a very simple, she's trapped, you have to just beat some bad guys. It's like a simple level 1 challenge, yeah.
Thank you, kind lizard.
So Alejandro Villar asked, why when you save the skeleton girl from the cauldron doesn't she get out of it?
Well, it looks nice and cosy and warm in it. It's like a little spa jacuzzi bath,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
And she's tied in as well. She can't get out.
Yeah.
Even though you save her, you don't actually release her.
I think she realizes she is already dead, so she's like, it doesn't matter, I can just chill.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't to do with lack of animation resources.
Or her legs aren't secretly modelled in this pose or something. Like, whoa. But yeah.
Why did we have the pot have a face? Because it didn't at one point, did it?
Everything got a face in this
Well,
game.
yeah, I know
Eyes
that, yeah.
and stuff. We went mad. But yeah, Potty Mouth, I think is called, isn't he? But I don't think he actually... Does he have a speaking role?
I think he says something at that cutscene. You
does,
could rewind
doesn't
the
he?
video and check out.
I can't. This
Yeah,
is
that's it.
live.
I'll confirm
wasn't
it with
talking to
text
you, I
on
was
the
talking
screen.
to the
I'll
audience.
I'll retroactively do it.
Well, we can talk direct to the audience.
Yeah.
Hello, audience. Right, let's
Is that
go,
everything
let's go somewhere
about
else.
Clara?
Oh.
No, that was pretty much it about Clara.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to make digs about her not getting out of the cauldron.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Alejandro did, not me. I just did it through him. No, he did it through me. Yeah, that was it.
There's Nimble.
Oof.
She is nimble and... Right,
Rude.
look at that. Butterflies. They can be used to top up health and special move energy depending on how you collect them. That's because we wanted to reduce the faff around it. But now looking back, you know what? We were pretty divisive, weren't we, on the energy meter mechanic, and we were just thinking, actually, should we just let people carry on using their special abilities forever, do we even need a meter? And you know what? I don't think there's a wrong answer to that. You could just make your bed and go with it. But
I know when I play, I put on the tonic that gives me extra. I think it doubles it or gives it just an extra bit of meter. So
yeah,
I do appreciate more meter.
yeah. Maybe we shouldn't do it in any future iteration. I've just
But it
collected
did
enough.
solve the problem of, to an extent, of having lots of different collectibles that do all the different moves. Like in the old games.
Yeah, I was quite happy with that final decision, the reasons behind it. Oops.
Embarrassing.
Oh no.
I was just checking that this was still here. It is. That empty nook. Hey, I've collected enough quills to go see our old friend.
Trowzer.
Good old Trowzer.
Bless you.
Let's go and give Twitco some money. Come on, all this text. Come on, Andy Robinson. I could have said that in 5 words.
Which
You
was?
want move? Yes? No?
Yeah, it's interesting, this choice. One of them allows you to sort of progress through the game quicker, and then the other one allows you to explore this world quicker. Well, 2 of them do, actually.
Ah.
So if you want to speed through things, and for example, if you're theoretically recording a video and need to get through to the next world, I'd pick Buddy Slam.
I'll buddy slam this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good choice there. Yeah.
I like how lame we tried to make Trowzer's interface look. Like he just like drawn stars like kids can draw. And
Yeah, it looks
on
like it's a
blackboard.
chalkboard,
Yeah. Hey, look at this. It'd be great to have actually had a physically modelled space for him.
People have asked about that. They've requested like a little shack for him, like a makeshift shack that they imagine he would set up.
We did
There
have
used
an
to be
idea.
one.
He had a little
Yeah.
caravan, didn't he?
And let's not say any more because I think we've still got an idea for revisiting that kind of idea in future, which is be pretty cool.
I do remember some quality programmer art though.
Yeah, Yen's
It
one of
was
the
very
good.
thing for him.
But I don't even want Buddy Slam bought. I think there's a nearby
I think you
challenge.
got an
with
achievement
Buddy
for
Slam.
reading so much text.
Well, I think you need one. What does this say, Mr. You put all these symbols in.
I did.
The game. They
They're
actually
all
mean something,
authentic
don't they?
Mayan or Aztec symbols, and it says. I managed to cobble together a sentence from it. It says something about
Barely do in English.
lizard and bird's great adventure or something. I can't remember what it. Oh, lizard and bat. Sorry. Lizard.
Remember?
Back to a previous game.
Have you? What? You worked on another game in the past, which is a 3D platformer by chance.
Just the odd one.
Well, here our first pagey and a cagey. And our emote. Well, hey. Lovely stuff.
Did you know that was going to be the positive one? I feel like it'd be like.
No, yeah, they were all on different directions on the D-pad. So
But you can
is
remember them.
Up is positive, yeah. Down's
Okay.
fail. Left is angry. And right is the other one. Don't need to say it, we all know it.
I have a question from Zealous from the Playtonic forums. He or she, what was the reason to not include a game of a cutscene where you're getting trapped within the book world you're currently in, or a different cutscene for the hub world if you select quick game, like in the pause menu for Donkey Kong 64?
I think that one it comes down to budget, actually. So I'd love to do that kind of stuff. I think it makes a huge difference. And I don't think, I'm not sure how people understand game development budgets,
Yeah.
really, but that money on Kickstarter only, once we wanted to make sure we'd got enough and we weren't having to bank game sales to fund physical item productions and everything. So that all came out of our Kickstarter budget. We lost money to taxes, credit card companies, and Kickstarter's cut, etc. So I think from the original odd million pounds raised, the game budget actually ended up something around the 1.3 million pound mark. So it's quite a lot, and
which does sound like a lot on the face of it.
yeah,
but
and I'm not even making an excuse or blowing our own trumpet, but to make a game like this on 1.3 million pounds, you really do have to be picky about what you can and can't spend on and what to focus on. And I'm not saying we got it right first time round either, but thankfully, due to the success of the game, the Kickstarter, and everything that's gone on since, it means we can keep going and improve and do better every time we release a future game, because we don't intend to repeat any mistakes. We always like to think we're smart enough to learn from them and listen to the feedback that's always given and say, hey, we'll revisit and rethink this stuff in future. So having those sequences like that, I think they had great production value.
I'm sure we talked about loads of things, possibly even those things exactly about putting them in, but then it's like, you know what, we're too focused on just getting the base stuff in there that we don't have time for that sort of thing.
It's mainly timescale, isn't it? There was tons and tons of stuff we would have had, we could have added if we wanted to, but we just didn't have the time, and we wanted to get the game into people's hands rather than spend lots of time delaying it to add another feature.
Potentially, there's stuff we could have moved to lifecycle management on the game as well, including where I'm stood right now. Rextro's arcade games could have been. Perhaps we should have shipped without them and had the Rextro arcade game pack come later, and that would have saved some money from the earlier budget to then spend on other things, such as what we were just talking about, those types of cutscenes.
That was another thing we talked about. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's always lots of different pros and cons and umming and ahhing over what to do, and we just need to keep giving ourselves the time to get a second crack at the whip and do better again in future. I think that's something I really like about game development is you want to come into it with the mindset of you never ever going to peak until literally maybe you grow very, very old and your heart start beating, but you should end your career at the peak of your game making powers. Which is kind of sad when you talk about it in terms of human condition and life and death and that, but we're not sportsmen, we don't peak in our 20s or something, but game developers, we want to go on and carry on improving all forever, really.
Judging the way you shuffled in here with your bad back, you're not sportsman, are you?
I'm glad it isn't a physical job. So yeah, back
to my wonderful, happy conversation, where stood by Rextro and Mighty Mustache 69 from Reddit.
Good name.
Asked, could you all go over the inspiration for Rextro and why he is the most deserving of a spin-off? Thanks.
He is the most one of the most deserving of a spin-off. He's a metaphor in a way for us.
With the dinosaurs.
We're the dinosaurs of the industry. He's got this.
Speak for yourself.
Huge fun. Yeah. Hamish, can you go out a sec? Look at his style, his aesthetics, the way he speaks. I think he should have like an older dad or sibling or family member as well, which is like a Spritosaurus. But it's maybe it's a scaling sprite, so it can scale like in the 16-bit era. But then there's an even older one which goes down and becomes more like a NES style dinosaur. And we could create a real good family of these dinosaurs, and maybe he'll have a kid one day who's really, really full of polygons and shaders and all those modern things that games seem to have.
The super realistic one.
Yeah, but he'd be more buggy. These days, games are more buggy, so we should play to that joke as well.
Kids normally are.
But no, I love Rextro. Thinking, it'd be great to leverage him again in future.
I think he's good because potentially he could fit into any game whatsoever. You could do lots and lots of spin-off stuff with Rextro if you wanted to. Like you say, you could go down the 8-bit, 16-bit route. Anything really. He's got a lot of potential.
I'd love Yooka-Laylee just to jump on his back now and like Yoshi style be able to ride him around. No, that starts conversations. Whoops.
Speaking of his potential, do you think that he has the potential to run a successful arcade one day, like he hopes?
Is his arcade in this game not successful?
I think everyone has potential. I just wouldn't put I wouldn't invest in him myself.
Oh.
He's managed to get his arcade machines into lots of different locations, right?
Yeah, how's he done?
Yeah,
How did he do
Successful,
that?
isn't it, really?
That is its own success, I guess. Come on, ride his back. No! Well played, sir. He outwitted me. Let's pass the pad over to a non-designer. Let's see if background artists can play games.
Oh, it's been a long time.
That's called an analog stick. That's it. Point it. That's it.
Yeah, so an art-based question. Charles Lamov, apologies if I got that wrong, from Twitter, asked, the most intriguing mystery about this beautiful world to me is the mountain face in the background. Does it have any particular meaning?
Mountain face in the background,
That
which is
one?
that? Is that I think, from what I remember, that is actually a minion's face. Because I think we had one originally that was modelled into the expanded version of the mountain. I think it does look a tiny bit like a minion.
It looks like the ones.
It looks
near
like the ones
Clara.
that
I
are
think
in
the ones
the-
at Clara
yeah.
are minions, right?
In this instance, Mr. Hurst, is it
and
just
contrast.
kind of world building and hinting at a
Oh,
a
absolutely.
larger
Yeah. I mean,
world
the thing
out
is,
there?
we'll always try to fit nice little Easter eggy things into all our games. I mean, we've done it throughout all the games we've done. So, just see if they are similar. Can't see the other one.
Oh, good shot on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could be
Similar-ish,
related, second cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I say, we try to fit nice little Easter eggs for people to spot in there. The amount that we put in is down to the amount of time, basically. So,
And the frame rate.
and the frame rate and everything.
Blimey.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just nice to get stuff in there that people might notice, such as that. And then we have to think up a convincing answer when we didn't know the reason.
Nice double jump in there, by the way.
Is it true that Tribalstack Tropics, the Grand Tome, doesn't just contain this little islandy area? Like, all these things are theoretically out there in that book. Possibly to revisit
what is in
another
a
time.
Grand Tome? Yeah. Wow, that's put us on the spot. What's the
That's-
next question?
That's a really good question, though, because actually, I don't know if this is a spoiler. It probably is a spoiler because it's about the end of the game.
Oh, spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning, mute it now. So at the end of the game, capital B quite gets sucked into a book, right? And the art on that book is the same as the art as this world. And someone said, they tweeted us and said, well, I went looking for them in the world afterwards and I couldn't find them.
Oh, really?
So that would link into your theory of it's not just this contained area, there's more. Someone was basically asking if we just kind of ran out of time and put the same art on the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can always edit this out.
Which could it be, I wonder?
Common theme, I think. I think that is what happened, right, Gav?
Yeah, I think we just spotted it ourselves too late in the day, but maybe we
Yeah.
should change it in future. I don't know how complicated that'd be. I know changing anything now across 4 different versions of the game, where one of them is a slightly bespoke version of Unity, everything gets really tricky for us out here and time consuming. Sadly, I wish it wasn't the case, because it'd make our lives a lot easier to go back and keep tweaking a lot of stuff.
I suppose ideally it would have just been a dusty book that you couldn't see what was on the
Yeah,
front, and then it's
yeah,
like, oh, we can do
yeah.
whatever we want with it later.
So we'll rewrite that bit of canon right now.
Yeah. Spoiler over.
Yeah. I was gonna ask actually about the oh God, what are they called? The Pig Knights.
Knights of Camelot.
Knights of Camelot. Yeah, like is there some DK64 inspiration there? Because they look a lot like
I'm trying to think. Did Kev do the Knights? Kev Bayless?
I think so.
Yeah, and he wasn't a DK64 artist.
Maybe he always had his eye on it.
Was
Yeah,
it
it's
not just
fine.
the pun came first with the Knights of Camelot? And then we
Well, I wanted Knights of Game a lot. Yeah, because
What
obviously
would
they
they have
might
been?
game a lot in future. I think we have a pretty cool Knights concept, game concept for the Knights of Camelot.
Oh yes, I've read the document.
So
Not that it exists.
You're laughing as if it's rubbish.
So would
No,
the Knights
no.
of Gamelot, would they have had, instead of, food and stuff or whatever, they would have had, like, gaming, like, controllers or something hanging off them, or not that far into the name? What do you think?
Maybe. I remember these knights have the four attributes they do have, each have, because that's what fits the game concept they may or may not see in development one day. So they
Is it a cooking game?
So shoots a lot, lady leaps a lot. That guy down there, I forgot his
Picturing
name.
Halo so far.
But he's strong, and there's thief one, isn't there? Loots a lot,
Steal
lady
and
loots a lot, yeah. Those are the kind of abilities that would play into the core gameplay mechanics of any future appearance within their own game. But I won't say any more.
Yeah, for the record, I don't think the document's bad. Please don't fire me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take all sorts of
Oh.
feedback, even if I think it's
No, I genuinely don't. I don't think it's bad.
not bad.
Not
That could go on the back of the box.
Ringing
Fired.
endorsement.
Not bad. Daily Kong.
are we-
Ooh,
Oh,
good
it's
tactic there.
nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Are we heading over to Rampo?
Yeah.
No, we aren't. He's not here.
No, he's not. Yeah. He's out at the moment.
What,
think
did I totally mistake this area for the raid or?
No, he
No,
is.
no,
It's,
no,
he appears
expanded.
when you expand.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's because we wanted to balance how much content there is pre and post expansion, and we had limited options as to what could and couldn't appear. Like, so Shovel Knight in the further temple appears behind the Clara area.
So since we're in this area, Mixer of Pancakes from Twitter asked, on the way up to Rampo, just before you trigger the little cutscene where he first talks to you telling you to go away, there's a small ramp to the side, and all along that ramp, there's a hole with a little hallway and nothing else. What was meant to go there? So do you guys
Right here,
know?
this is, yeah, you did this,
This
didn't
was
you?
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
purely when I was modelling the temple. I just thought I'd put a little area where perhaps the designers could hide something, but they never did. They didn't bother.
Oh.
So
I'll be honest. That's because I
Hamish.
would have put something there. I never knew it was there. I never knew it.
so no, it was intended just as like a little area just to hide something in it.
Talking about hiding something, there's some pirate treasure, isn't there?
Yeah, it's
Around
Should
here.
have put it in there. To be honest, it's a great place for it.
Yeah.
Hamish on this level, you kept putting loads of hidden stuff around as well. Wasn't the initials on the underside of the ramp a nod to people you know?
Yeah, that's the TC that
TC.
people were asking about. So yeah, that was just I was just working away one day and got a call from my family back home in Australia, and my brother got engaged. And because I was working on Rampo at the time, when I went back to work, I was like, oh, I'll put their initials underneath Rampo's ramp as a
This-
little wedding present for them.
I remember what you said to me. You said, Gavin, am I alright to do this? It will save me money. I won't have to buy them a real present. And I said, yes,
Yep.
we can all do it in future. So, look, whenever you see initials elsewhere on an environment, you know we've cheapened out and said to someone, hey, we'll put your initials in a game. That's your present this year, or whatever.
It's a present that money can't buy, though, isn't it?
True, exactly.
Well, actually,
great
Actually, yeah.
I don't mind receiving money to get this stuff in. I'll do it.
Should we go and talk to Puss?
Yeah, go on, Mr. Hurst.
We'll do the
We can probably afford another move at this stage as well, if we need it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I realised that I suggested taking the butt slam, but we actually do need to expand this world, so I derped. I made a mistake.
I saw it. I think Mr. Hurst here has got a few more quill.
Do you want pause or do you want quills?
You might as well speak to her.
You don't have molecule anyway.
Yeah.
Another
you
great
need-
pun.
True,
You
yeah,
need the
very true.
Yeah, molecule.
you need the echo move, sonar move. Sorry.
Molly cool.
Molly cool. Ninja Penguin, one from Reddit, asks, were there any molecule transformation ideas that didn't make it into the game? I'm sure there were loads, right? There must have been.
Yeah. But Steve Mails is so limited with his skills nowadays. We're literally like, I can't do that. No, I'll never be able to do that. No, they can't transform into that. I'm rubbish at modelling. Do something easy. So we did the ones we got.
I remember one world we could never decide on which one it should be. It kept flipping flopping all over the place.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was it this world?
No.
I think it was Glacier. Or Casino.
I think it was Casino, actually, yeah. Because it was, at one stage there was a train that would drive around. Another time it was maybe a drink, and you like jump around and have to get filled up and deliver drinks to
Another
people.
one was going to be dice, so you'd have a little green and purple pair of dice rolling around, and you'd go and roll them to play games and fix the outcomes. We wanted to do things like that, so hey, we could quickly just insert a hyperlink to show 4 Casino.
Yeah.
Here, but we haven't recorded it yet. That won't work.
I think that one he ultimately ended with a good one on there.
Yeah. Here we went for Flower Power.
Yeah, someone sometimes I really cannot read people's names. That_Juan_gamer asked, why did you choose a flower for the first transformation?
I think it was because it was such a lush world, and plants and flower-like, wasn't it? And we had an idea, although it was very rudely executed. And goes against my my very pristine upbringing.
Yes, there was a very angry review about that.
Yeah, but about plants helping other plants grow. Educational, I thought. But it could be misread, I guess, what goes on here.
What are you talking about with the dialogue?
Well, I don't want to beat around the bush, but how this task when you're a plant is presented.
Oh yes.
In dialogue.
I think we toned it down though. It used to be a lot
It
worse.
was a lot worse than that, yeah.
Was it Conker's Bad Fur Day
It
levels
was
of badness?
level,
Oh
yeah.
dear. Blimey.
Yeah, I found out recently, actually, while you're in this farm, if you spray the inept, it enjoys it as well.
Those.
Oh really?
Yeah, you go up to him
I
and he
think
gets all, like,
if
dizzy and
you
happy.
I think if you attack it, it's normally invincible to your attacks, right?
Yeah.
So
Is
it's
this, is this stuff set up as an attack? It's a non-damage attack, isn't it?
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can kill minions with it, but it's the inept will probably receive the attack and recognize it as one, but just play the animation where it doesn't care.
It was,
So it's
it
like
was
laughing
happy.
at you.
Yeah,
No. I think that's the thing. I think he laughs at you when you can't attack him.
Oh, so he's not like, hee I like this. He's
Yeah.
like, haha.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
I think I'd have to double
Talk
check.
about mixed signals.
Mr. Hurstey, he dodged the text and just went straight in. That's how he met his wife.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I still hope my wife doesn't hear that.
Go on.
Here we go, the great
Oh.
physics puzzle
So you
solution.
can transform back and just smash them.
No, it's not how.
Well, is
That's
there
not the speed run
actually a
away.
way to do this without going back? Because I would always just go back and surrender to it.
These crates were unnecessarily
You
heavy.
can do it, can't
Oh,
you?
you're just pushing them up. I didn't
Yeah, you
think.
can. There
Physics,
you
you couldn't do that back in 1943.
Nor should you.
No.
Where's the other one?
Is it that
Oh,
one?
it's up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's right.
Dring. Happy sound effect.
Oh, you pushed a crate in his way.
Thanks for helping my sisters grow
I
hot
think
stuff.
the page is going to clip with the box.
Oh, cool. Hope it does. Doing.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
You need to go back and get the pagey.
just there.
He deliberately.
It's holding the controller upside down.
Looks like you found enough pages to expand a world. Let's do it, I say.
Yeah.
Daley, do we have permission to go and expand a world?
Alright, cool.
Wow, we're back in Ivory Towers, ready to expand our first world.
Expand dong.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, my brain. You know you don't mean to say something out loud.
Look at that, the pagey. One of them had bet against you returning. They had no faith in you.
Did you write that?
I can't remember. I think so.
The trust in you was paper thin. Huh.
Yeah.
Three pages, that's a good deal.
I think, again, the sequence of expanding a book would have been something we'd have liked to have spent more time and money on. Having now looking at it in retrospect.
Yeah, originally you had the books kind of tilted up so you would jump into it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then it changed into the book kind of eats you up.
Yeah.
It was
For gameplay reasons, it was a lot better just to jump up and stand on where you wanted to go. But I remember early on, you did that test, Mr. Hurst, didn't you, with the underground area and books on these pedestals? That it was a gorgeously lit scene.
Yeah, I can't remember why we changed it to jump on. I think it was just easier in the long run, basically.
It was
Did you just call pedestals pedestals?
pedestal. I can't remember.
Just being pedantic.
Yeah.
I'll pass over the controls now.
Pedantic.
Yeah.
This conversation's gone pedestrian.
I think we better stop there before we run the gamut of
Yeah.
bed word.
We
that's
spotted Shovel Knight just then.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you to everyone at Yacht Club Games for letting us borrow him.
I have a question about that. Hold on, let me find it.
Good camera movements.
Yeah, so this is a guy from Facebook. Andres Varvik asks, where did the idea to add Shovel Knight to this world come from, and how did Yacht Club Games react to the question for a cameo?
They were really positive and receptive, which was really nice. I think some of them may have backed as well. So thank you for that, guys. I think we just, it's kind of a bit like when you're a fan of something as well, you're kind of thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could do this and this? And we'd seen Shovel Knight somewhere before as well, outside of his own game. I think
he was in something by that stage, yeah.
So
Can't remember
you kind
what.
of say, hey, got this idea for doing this thing, would you like to do it? And they're really positive, really easy to talk to and just enjoy setting stuff up. It wasn't really, this contract and these terms and conditions and this must happen and Shovel Knight must have all the red Skittles removed from his trailer and stuff like that. It was pretty straightforward, and we knew as well Shovel Knight should be voiced by someone at Yacht Club, so we left it with them. They provided the model, we animated it, and here he is. That's what a real hero looks like, Lizard Boy. I think we had some ideas for playing on a riff on his 2D-ness as well, like maybe he can't go on this adventure because you have to move in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, I think that's
get
the
this
joke
treasure.
that was in there. Yeah, it's a good one. I think this challenge here was already in as a challenge for someone else, right? I think it was like Clara's secondary challenge, and then when Shovel Knight went in, it was like, okay, where should we put him?
So long, Clara.
Yeah,
You're done with now.
and because this is a bit of an obstacle course, it seemed, from what we had, it seemed like the most appropriate, and it's kind of early-ish in the level, so. Oh no.
Now you've got to go see Trowzer. Wouldn't a fast travel option or a map like in Mario Odyssey been really useful around now? I'm going to say yes.
Why don't you go and get the quill that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Oh, the
I was
quill,
wondering,
sure.
Isn't it
Everyone's
somewhere?
favourite quill.
Yeah.
The last
Who
quill.
put that there?
We know, don't we? Someone
We worked it
pulled
out,
up
didn't
the
we?
code.
Who was it in the end?
I think it was Kev.
Kev put the horrible quill down.
Is that right?
Oh,
Sorry.
amateur hour.
I thought that's where Kev put it.
I don't know if I'm remembering wrong though. I'm pretty sure it said Kev Bayliss.
I think Kev did put that one there. And Kev and Steve, when they got to put down some quills, they're really old school gamers, and they used to love knowing they'd inflict pain on everyone who bought the game in some way. I mean, Kev worked on Battletoads, say no more. So yeah, we could call this quill the Battletoad quill. I think it's down there, isn't it?
Try again.
Go on, you can do it. Well, hey.
Hooray!
Now what do you do?
Now how do I get out of here? I guess I go around here.
You have to jump around the corners.
Easy.
Good
Pure
jumping.
evil.
Well, hey.
Yeah, that's the one. I think so like we said, some of the artists did a cool pass, and we probably reviewed it, but that was one that we didn't see in the review. So
Would
it stayed in
you
there.
consider that something that you would avoid doing again, or do you
I
think
think so. I think it's a
Yeah.
bit too trollish in a way.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? Since this game originally came out, Mario Odyssey turned up, and I think that it's got so many good lessons in that game on there to learn from.
yeah, but at the
Good
same time,
practice.
like that's a big team, a lot of time to make
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
big budget and everything. Like so much of this in the game was down to the budget and the time frame, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think with Kickstarter campaigns, I feel like people can make the mistake of, say, you see a Kickstarter campaign that completely exceeds its initial goal. I think sometimes people forget that the stretch goals, is stuff that actually needs funding, and stuff after the original funding goal isn't just spare cash. Like it's got to be spent on something. So I just think there's a lot of misconceptions about that. And
yeah, I think also. So we said like, oh, we'll do this and that, and we'll do all these extra things, but you don't really know if they're going to work out. But when you say that you're going to do them, you kind of have to do them. But maybe there were things that we promised we would do, and then it's like, actually, if we hadn't promised this, would we consider it good enough to include?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really think of any offhand, but
You have
maybe like
a lot
the
of-
quiz, for example.
Yeah.
It's like we said we do that, okay, so let's just put it in somehow. But that was something where maybe we would have gone, you know what, let's spend more time improving just the levels rather than, I don't know.
Yeah, and when we have time to go back and do a quiz, it would have been great to do a quiz that had, had a bit more investment put into it. I like the fact that the quiz is actually based and the questions and answers get a bit personalised to your current save game data. I think that was a nice touch.
I don't know about you, but for now, I think like the right way to do a Kickstarter is to not put any stretch goals and just go, any extra money, we'll just keep improving it.
Yeah. Again, I think for us it's about learning from mistakes, looking at feedback, good and positive, and knowing how to do things differently in future. And thanks to the incredible backing support, because I can't say this enough, and purchases of the game since as well. It's a very exciting future for us. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you backed it, yeah.
Yeah.
so
I backed it myself as well. I wanted to make sure what the backer experience would look like to our backers, even though I'd done a few Kickstarters. Yeah.
Oh, it's Cartos. Before we quickly jump into that, Jos Vigny from Twitter asked, in one of the first video teasers for the game, the Jungle World was shown at night time. Did you originally plan to have a day and night cycle in the game?
Yeah, there was the idea where we had, if you jumped into the level, it would kind of randomly pick from different times of day. It wouldn't affect the gameplay, because it would have been nice to affect the gameplay, but I think we realised that was too big a scope to do.
That's pretty much the problem in itself, isn't
yeah.
it? That to do a day-night cycle and take advantage of it and have that affect the gameplay is a massive undertaking, far beyond the budgets that we were playing with. But it gives space for future expansion for a franchise in future, and so day-night cycles, weather, other dynamic changes, they're certainly on a wish list for any potential sequel.
Yeah, like I say, we did have the idea where it would randomly pick one from the different ones when you enter the game, just as a purely visual thing. But again, it just came down to time, budget. Really, we just didn't have the time to do it.
I remember at one point it was going to change when you expanded. So maybe, for example, this one was like this, and then when you expanded, it became nighttime. But then I think it was like, well, what if you preferred it before? There was no way to unexpand. So
yes, that's right.
Like, well, yeah.
I think then if you set a precedence on one level, you have to do the same for everything else as well. So I think that just the workload involved was just far, far too much.
We're not going to be able to go and see Blastui, the bigger version of Blasto.
Yeah, can we? What if
That's
I
a
can
shame.
skip past this windy bit? Can you get up there?
I don't know. Well, I can, yeah, but can you?
We split in half.
Sure.
Oh. I'm sure you can get up here. Here, you do this. I'm not sure. Oh,
Skills.
Nice. That page in a cage has got one of your puns.
yeah,
associated
that's
with
one
it.
of my favourite jokes.
It
Actually,
is good, isn't it?
I don't know if I can get up there.
You can.
I'm all out of tricks.
Well, go up a bit higher.
Oh, and fall, okay,
Jump and fall
okay.
down.
I'm gonna
It's great
fall
'cause-
from the top.
You know what? Literally, not until the pages and cages had been in for months did we just joke amongst ourselves and go, hang on, why don't they just step out the cages?
Yeah, it's like, can't they just fit
They can
out?
slip out. You know, the mystical power of
I'm actually
the
just going
cage
to go in here
itself,
first, just in case I fall off. But yeah, so
prevents
that's
it.
yeah. So that was a kind of realization we had, and then we went back and implemented it on this pagey, and it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sets up a joke
later
on in the game, which is probably my favorite joke in the game, which I guess we'll point that out in another episode. This guy.
Here we go. And the page really tries forward. Brilliant. I tried my best. Convenient.
I like that they're just very content to just chill in there, and they know that it's going to open eventually, and kind of like hints that they're aware they're in a game.
I
and
can't
just-
wait till we get to Crazy Kirkhope.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
seems to really enjoy his caging, and he's a bit upset that you let him out.
So since we're nice and high up, Bob Heinrich Jr. from Facebook asked, did you have any other plans with the big cloud affecting the weather and different things you could do in the world other than cloud races?
We wanted Nimbo to have a much wider effect on multiple challenges by being able to get water into the level, freeze water, create new jump heights and distances, etc. We just run out of time to do it justice, in all honesty. I really would like to have done more with Nimbo on this world. Missed opportunity there, I'll admit.
Mm-hmm.
But I love his shader and his movement.
Yeah,
Remember
I
when
like
the-
the character. He
Remember when
looks
the
cool.
first time I
he's
saw that?
interesting.
Yeah, it was great. It was cool.
I did really enjoy that Nimble like rains out the pagey that she gives you for completing the rain.
I put that in. I wasn't sure if it would get taken out.
Yeah.
This guy's great. I love how this challenge is presented as, hey, you're helping him deliver presents to his friends, but really he's just shooting them in the face, literally.
Yeah, this character is actually quite a fan favourite as well.
I like the canon.
This one over Blasto.
Yes,
Okay,
because
interesting.
of his quest.
Excellent dialogue.
Okay, yeah.
which I think I directed, then Andy Robinson rewrote, and then I employed Andy Robinson, so I guess in a way
you
it's
get
all
the
down to
credit,
me.
yeah.
This is all me.
Good job.
I did everything. Yes.
What a weird guy.
Foreshadowing there, some pleasure. Boom. Take that. Blam writing is stupid. You're doing it too fast. We're missing
I'm
the
sorry.
tech. Oh.
I'd already pressed it.
Oh man.
Try hard.
The thing is, when you make a game like this, you just play so much that you just get. It's just muscle memory, you know. I can't help it. I couldn't stop myself if I tried.
Yeah. It's not quite the Zelda.
But even better than that.
It's not quite the Zelda chest open, is it? But I won't complain. Dan might be
I
listening.
like this guy's got an afro. That always made me laugh.
So I guess this one can go to everyone. Banjo Kazooie 134 from Twitter asked, "What is your favourite pagey in Tribalstack Tropics?" So Gavin.
Yeah, I'd like to deflect and go, Mr. Hurst, what do you think?
I do actually like the one we've just done, just because of the dialogue and everything. Gameplay wise,
This one's cool. It is cool coming up here because you get a nice view. It's kind of you feel like you've accomplished something, and like you say, it's funny.
I like the Knights one because it's a bit questy. Rewards knowledge of the level. Hamish?
Well, I've already said I like the one below here that we just did, the windy guy, just because it's a funny joke.
It's basically
Challenge itself, actually.
the best thing we like
don't
about
like
the
that
pages are the ones where it's not focused on gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the pigs for my one.
Actually, I'm going to change mine to the gliding one just below. I'm going to go do that right now, actually. Hopefully. Oh.
Douche.
Perfect.
Take that.
Or should I do Kartos?
Yeah, let's do Kartos.
I really like Kartos.
I think he's a great character, again, ton of potential for in future. I don't think we had enough time to spend on the Minecart gameplay enough because we were never sure about giving him speed up, break mechanics and shooting. And it's hard because he's always moving and goes around the tracks in 3D. I remember it being really difficult for us to figure out.
Yeah, I would definitely say the karting sections are divisive. Like, people either love them or don't.
I think there's an expectation that comes with Minecart levels of what they are and what they're going to be, and I don't think we quite aligned with that. And we probably tried to complicate things too much, and it's one of those areas where you just think, no, just do great core fun gameplay rather than try and make it too mechanically new or different. Again, lesson learned.
But this was probably another one where it was like, we said we'd do it in the Kickstarter. It wasn't working out. We should have, well, any other time we would have maybe cut it and focused more on other stuff and made like other things more polished, you know, rather than just being spread thin over this.
Yeah, it's a brave thing to go ahead and promise things outright, but it can backfire.
Mm.
And it's also really difficult to let go of something and admit defeat on something too.
But they've got Dave Weiss tunes, so pretty good overall.
That is true.
When
Every
you take
cloud.
that into account.
Every cloud.
Is this what's down there?
Death.
Oh gosh. I'm used to playing with invincibility on. Oh, now where do I go?
man FR1 from Twitter actually asked, what references did you give Grant Kirkhope before he composed the music? Was the level already done, or was he simply given artistic concepts of the level design? I guess him and Dave as well.
Yeah, we had to give them some gameplay previews of what's going on, which really worries us because Grant's now got form for letting slip a lot of stuff ahead of schedule. But yeah, we showed them the level. We take them on a bit of a tour around, show them the tone, how levels are going to be actiony where, and what type of areas within the levels are going to be well suited to having some variant on the tune kick in, so the music dynamically alters itself somewhat.
I don't think it matters with Grant anyway, because he's only got one tune, and he just repurposes it for different levels.
As he was saying, a bit of papa and a bit of that, and he's happy. Job done.
I'm expecting a Twitter rant now.
Oh, yes.
He's happy with his $10,000 a minute. Oh, it's worth it. I couldn't imagine not working on the game and not having Grant involved, or having to have a Skype chat with him, and just the opportunity to get him near to Steve Mayles and have them bicker at each other like they've done for the past 25 years. It's great.
I really like that he continues to support projects, like even after he's done with them as well. Like you can tell he's genuinely really passionate about everything he touches.
For $10,000 a minute, you would.
So I was trying to be nice, but you ruined it.
No, I'm joking. He's not really $10,000 a minute. That's 30 seconds.
How did I miss that? Anything else you guys want to see? What can I do you?
Well, I've been quite far and wide
Yeah,
around this world.
We haven't done the boss. We haven't done.
And I think
Oh, you can't forget
thanks for the
Rambo.
questions
Yeah, let's do that,
coming
yeah.
in as well, because they've helped direct our jog down memory lane.
Yeah, see some questions. I obviously had to pick a selection because there were so many. I think I counted them in total. In total, there was over like 250, maybe close to 300 across all platforms.
Whoa.
So I narrowed those down. Some of them I have on the list in front of me. I haven't asked because they already got answered, just in general conversation.
Excellent. How much does Grant Kirkhope earn, for example?
Oh,
We've got a lot of questions about the next world as well because it's super popular.
Super.
That sounded sarcastic. I wasn't meant to be. It's just my throat is in a state. Yeah, I guess another one. If we could talk more about like the world itself. We talked a bit about the influences of this world at the start, but Johnny Boswell from Facebook asked, "What influences did you draw upon for creating the tropical world? Is Tribalstack Tropics imaginary, or are they in real world locations?" So we can expand more on.
Oh, what is a Grand Tome, for
Yes.
example? So Grand Tomes are worlds that very powerful authors, using certain combination of items, have created and brought into existence. And once they exist, they are real locations. And there's lots more to be written in future, I'd say.
Mysterious.
yes.
Definitely more mysterious than you were in the prologue.
Yeah.
So we're at Rampo right now. We've already gone over the TC thing. That was a Rampo question.
Stands for Tom and Colleen, by the way.
I know what we can talk about with Rampo. On the third wave of logs rolling down, one of them every now and again goes out of sync, and I could not fix it for the life of me. I was trying to create a consistent set of patterns here for Rampo to roll your way. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? How on earth can you fight a ramp? We found a way. Oh yes.
Yeah, so
Take that.
The whole world was hoping.
Take that, Red Dead Revolver 2. Take that, Breath of the Wild.
Luke FSJE from Reddit did ask, how did you come up with a great Rampo, both in terms of his design and personality?
I think Andy Robinson can be credited with his his personality and his distaste of salesmen. Did you just swear?
No, I said
Shoot.
Well, that's a swear word around.
Yeah, very
How dare
nimble it
you.
is. Oh. I actually remember in my interview to get a job here, I was talking to you, Gav, about the first world, because this was the one that had been started, and you said, "Oh, we've got a boss here. It's a giant ramp called Rampo," and I laughed because I thought you were joking. And then you were walking around. I saw a huge ramp like off in the distance. Like, oh.
And I think it had just designer art at that point, so we just had like a crude
It was
face.
a cube. Like,
Yeah,
a cube. Yeah, and,
yeah.
and you had a big pink eye.
Yeah. Let's see if any of these logs go out of sync. If they do. There's one.
There it
Look,
is.
look.
I thought that was deliberate when I was fighting him.
No.
And why the holes on the side of the ramp?
Oh, yeah.
They were breathing fire at one point.
It was going to be even more difficult, wasn't it? Fire was going to come out the holes of the sides as well. And yeah, I think it would have been too difficult for
I think it used to
early
be
doors boss fight.
wave 1 was logs, wave 2 was fire, and then the next was both at once.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like so many of each.
Those thorny plants at the top two are like super evil, because like even once you've got past the hell of jumping over all those logs, you're still not quite safe because you could still mess up and hit yourself
They are
on them.
only there because his arc on his fire, when he breathes fire, doesn't go all the way to the edges. So
He could just go and stand in the corner
we
and
used
wait.
to just stand in the corner and wait, and then just like bash his teeth in. I love how we can go on, get his eye. Get him. Arr. Not my eyes. Great Rampo did not foresee such aggressive seven. Good pun. Well done, Andy Ramson. This is literally only there so you don't get soft locked. There we go.
So many dodgy workarounds.
Anti-soft lock platform success. Get.
Yeah, so I did notice, previously, when you were kind of releasing stuff to the public for the first time, a lot of the sort of ramps and platforms in the world were a lot more grassy than they are now. Like you had sort of like floating islands that would move.
Yeah.
What was the kind of decision to change them into more platformy looking things instead of...
I think when we first started looking at the game, I think generally it was a lot more stylised than it was now. So, I mean, it was probably more in the direction of a Mario game or something like that almost. And I think as we kind of went on, feedback that we got from people that from the Kickstarter was that they wanted something that was a little bit more akin to the Banjo game, in more natural environments rather than kind of these more stylised ones. So I think because we'd moved away from the stylised abstract thing, I think we had to then find solutions for platforms that fit into this natural world, which is why a lot of them changed to these like platforms with propellers on the bottom, really. It was just to ground them a little bit more in the world that they're in.
I remember you being happy about that because you went, yay, more triangles.
Oh no.
Always happy at that.
And the frame rate took a big dive. Floating platforms, we could have run at 120 frames a second, easy.
But let's add a high polygon propeller on the bottom just for the sake of it.
That polygon on those polygons on these propellers, there's more polygons there than there was in the entirety of Banjo, Kazooie, Tooie and Donkey Kong 64 probably.
But still not as much as Yooka's eyeball.
Oh yeah. There's an ongoing battle between the environment artists and the character artists as to who's draining most resources all the time. Bit of both,
It's actually
I
hidden
found that-
designer art that no one knows
Yeah.
about.
I think Steve is currently winning, seeing as his capital B model had the buttons on his jacket were all individual model with thread as well, I think. It was
look
just
at this.
slightly excessive.
I can't wait. Get Steve Mails in on the next video. I want to retort. I want to hear what he says. He does model the inside of mouths, Steve Mails does.
With teeth and crowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all sorts.
Well, for good reason. You can see in. Puts two tongues in as well.
Yuka has two tongues.
He's an as yet undiscovered species of lizard.
Hey.
For a very long time I thought chameleons were amphibians for some reason. I believed that until yesterday when I was doing some research.
Did you know there's a tiny chameleon who can fit on a match head? Google it.
That's
Is
a
that
frog.
real though?
No, It's a chameleon. They can be really, really tiny.
Scientists can't decide because they can't see it properly.
So whose burp is that?
I don't know. I remember standing in front of a mic and gulping down a protein shake, and I don't think it got used in the end. I think Dan went with his own pig noises.
Is that an insult?
No. I think it's a true. I meant it as a genuine true story. I'm a bit gutted. I always
throwing shade on Dan.
I think I even like went home and said to my wife, "Oh, this is great. I'm gonna be a pig." And I think I'm just Quack.
Why does Matt have this on his desk?
So he doesn't have to call Gavin to do pig noises.
I think it's to do new sound effects. Yeah, future sound effects. Could that be the sound effects of a future game? Do it again.
Copyrighted. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Go on, Hamish. I like how the number 64 finds its way into our games in a variety of ways as well. Because we always like 64 as part of our branding. Mm-hmm. Bit of our nod to our heritage.
Yeah, a nod to your age.
Nod to the number of polygons that Steve Hurst puts in his sprites.
Oh, jumped over him.
Come on, you need this next butterfly. Oh, and you're on the danger zone. Oh, look at that.
Check this move out.
Whoa. Wow, playing like a...
I'm on world record.
Playing like an Englishman right here. Well done, Hamish.
Uh-oh.
She does sneak up on you here, actually. She's probably right behind me.
Have a look. Stop and have a look. Whoa!
I'm not taking chances.
Oh, she's gone straight through you.
There you go, the iconic pagey delivery.
Do you think she was maybe one of the first clouds in the game to actually have collision around her, like in the way that she does? Like you don't just pass through her when you're racing her, like you bump off on her. Like, she's a solid cloud.
I think Nimbo is as well. I think you can stand on Nimbo.
There used to be a bug where standing on Nimbo was the best way to win the race because you were slightly in front of her.
Yeah.
Your collider was slightly in front of her. So she just carried you around the course.
And that's why you slip off, actually. So
that is why you slip
that
off.
was the fix.
Yeah. Why do we fix things like that? Why don't we just embrace them and leave them in?
Should.
Yeah.
Next game will be easier.
Yeah.
She was pink at first, wasn't she?
Pink without a hat, I think.
Yeah.
I think it is just Nimbo scaled down, obviously. But I can't just leave it like that, so... She's got a bit of character.
Yeah. We had to show off she was into her racing. It'd be great if she turned up in quite a few experiences where racing's a theme.
Like a golf game or something?
Yeah. Match 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people like the idea of a racing game with these characters.
They'd be a wacky bunch, that's for sure.
I'd really like to make that game. I think that would be fun.
I'm going to see if the term wacky races is trademarked. Quickly. That's another thing. We've spent thousands on trademark and IP protection for the brand.
Oh, really?
And here's an uninteresting fact. Someone in, I can't remember if it was Belgium or Holland, tried to grab or lay claim to the Yooka-Laylee trademark. And you know what? I'm actually scared of talking about it a bit more whilst it's still ongoing.
Oh, it's ongoing.
Yeah, and it's things like that you just don't anticipate you're going to have to deal with on the side of trying to make a game that you're really passionate about when you're indie all of a sudden and you're not, under the umbrella of Rare, Nintendo, Microsoft, or wherever it is. You take a lot for granted.
Well, it's not too late to change the name of our game, right? And characters?
Might be now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
The name actually came from a fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Project Yooka-Laylee. And we were thinking of names and we split the word ukulele, which we all pronounce wrong apparently. It's ukulele, I think. Is actually how the instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we saw a fan suggestion and thought, you know what, that's really, really great. Let's go with it. So they became
What was it beforehand?
Laylee. I have no idea. Bat and lizard.
No, it was Project Ukulele. It was that for a while, but we never actually thought of that as a final name.
No, it was only when a fan said, I wonder if secretly Project Ukulele is actually going to be called Ukulele. And we thought, that'd be kind of cool.
I made this texture, by the way. Don't know if you knew that.
Really?
Yeah. Took the concept art and then made it look like it had been painted.
Brilliant. It's kind of nice how there's a posh minion who doesn't like the other minions. And I always remember I think did you write this one, Hamish? Did you set this one up? Posh minion in a top hat, which is one of the snowman's top hats, I think.
No, someone else put this hat on, I think.
I can't remember.
But I put the hat on in... No, I'm actually... Because I did those tests, remember? Where...
Yeah, I think so. And I just remember saying, a posh minion. This is kind of... In a way, it reminded me of Basil Brush. Now, if you're English and British, yeah, you know who Basil Brush is if you're my age. And if you're not, you'll have to Google it. But he was a fox who was acted like a bit upper class, and he was into fox. He wore a fox hunting outfit hilariously. I'm very anti-fox hunting myself. I'm just going to say that. But Basil Brush is a.
Did he say
is a
ha
character.
boom boom? Or was that someone else?
That's the one. Yeah.
But was he with boom boom? Was he referencing shooting other foxes? Or am I reading too much into that?
Maybe, I don't know. You know, I was brought up in a time of emus on hands and Spit the dog.
What are you talking about?
We're going back to the puppet conversation
British
from the
stuff,
other day.
Well, back in Australia, Hamish was playing with sharks.
We had emus.
And spiders and stuff. Your emus were real, ours
Yeah,
were like...
you didn't have a
ours had
monster
a man
emus.
with his hand up the backside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we thought emus were. We thought if we ever went to Australia and saw the emus running around, they'd be dragging men around from their behinds with their hands stuck up them. But sadly, that's not the case. Missed opportunity there, Australia.
I'll have a word with them when I get back.
Cheers.
See what they can do.
Have a word with Bruce.
Yeah. That's a good thing to do.
One final question for Mr. Hurst, environmental artist. So this level, you know, it's got a lovely look and aesthetic to it. So what are your closing thoughts on the sound effects?
Need a bit more work.
Excellent.
I've got a question for you, actually. If you could change one thing about this level, what would it be?
That we'd have given the task of designing it to someone other than you.
Oh.
No. One thing, if I could change one thing about this, I think it's the use of Nimble, as I alluded to earlier. I'd love to have had the changes and impact he makes on the level be more integral. Nimble, to a lot of other areas as well as just the riverbed and a lot of the challenges. We should have built that in as one of the key features to level, I feel.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, and again, the expansion would have had a lot more repercussion and wow than it perhaps ended up with.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I've got unfinished business with 3D platformers. I think we could do a really good second go at it.
I do too. If we could just get £1.31 million in the future, they'd have all
solve
sorts.
every problem.
It'd solve everything, yeah. But no, who knows? You know, we Playtonic. We want to do a lot of these styles of games. We want to have fun in a lot of different genres. But you know, we hope this company's still around in tens of years as well. So hundreds of years, maybe we can do things, a lot more things, as well as return to existing genres we've already been in, which is only one for now. As well as get that match 3 game, that golf game
Yeah.
done as well.
So yeah, that wraps it up for this episode, which was originally supposed to be 2, but I'm going to cut it into 1. We'll be back next time with Glitter Glaze Glacier, and I'll probably have some different guests with me next time. I don't know. I need to check the list. But
Don't tune in.
Gav made the level, so I assume you'll be there.
yeah.
I might drop in.
Okay.
And
You
then
should.
I might drop in and then just leave you with Orange Point light lover Dean Wilson.
And we'll be getting Grant in at some point as well. Not in the studio, but we'll get him
Phew.
in for the recording of an episode. And potentially the next one, actually. I need to speak to him. So, yeah, thanks for checking this out. And I hope that, we hope, that it was informative and fun.
It was for me.
Can I go?
Yeah, you
I'm
can
joking.
go now.